Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Steve. It's your co-host, Steve. Hey, this episode is extra late. Sorry about that. As you'll hear, it's been kind of a crazy couple weeks, so please forgive us. And beyond that, I hope you enjoy the show.
We're good?
Okay.
Yay!
This is such a rough time to get some silence today.
This is the podcast that always starts.
It's the podcast that never began.
It's a never-ending podcast. Na, 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 na.
Oh, nice.
That was so good.
We're so good
We're so hilarious.
Remember these 90s nostalgia references?
And the horse died.
You guys want some pudding pop?
Only 90s kids will get this. Hey, I'm back.
Whatever happened to predictability?
Just like the 90s. Just like choker necklaces, I'm back. I've been away for a minute.
You have been.
Yeah. Do you miss me?
Yeah, Otto didn't, though. Otto partied.
He doesn't miss me at all.
I'm just kidding. He was, every time I texted him, he was sad. He
Aww.
was like, I'm doing okay. And I was like,
my name's Otto and I'm sad.
Otto just mimed that he was suiciding, but then got my messages. I'm glad I could save your life, dog.
Right there, man.
Right there, man.
Oh, man. Well, okay, so we have a lot to go over.
We have so much to go over.
Maternity leave. No, I'm just kidding.
Steve's going on maternity leave.
Oh, yeah, because I'm having my very own baby.
Having a lactation vacation.
I'm
sorry, I stole that joke. That was your joke.
Do you want me to read my tweet?
Yeah, read your tweet.
I keep thinking about going to an open mic at comedy and just reading my tweets. Because
funny.
Here's the thing, like, I don't know, if you've listened to the podcast before, you know that I used to do a little bit of comedy. Not anything serious. I wasn't famous like Mark Maron or anything, but that's a weird pull. Mark Maron as a famous comedian. Should have been like Jerry Seinfeld or something. Whatever happened to predictability? Anyway, that was my remix of 90s.
It was good.
I'm having a really weird day. Anyway,
I
tweeted about... So anyway, the thing about tweeting and reading my tweets at comedy, like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I kind of don't care if I went and I just totally bombed. I just want to read my tweets and see if they're actually funny.
See if you get like a few.
Yeah. People would be like, wow, you're not good at being on stage at all. And I'm like, I just don't care if you like me is the problem. No, I do. I do too much. Anyway, I tweeted right before we started. And Alicia stole my joke. My joke was, maternity leave needs better marketing. We should start a rebrand. New name, Lactation Vacation.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good. I feel pretty proud of that one because it rhymes. And you know what they say in copywriting, if you can't make it good, make it rhyme.
Boom. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I'm trying to look at my old tweets to see if there's anything funny in there. Here's something. I don't know if it's funny, though. People are moving on in their lives, and I'm still wrecked by Baby Dory.
Oh. Me too. Baby Dory, Baby Groot. It's just everything is too cute in the world anymore.
I haven't seen the second Guardians of the Galaxy. Have you?
Yeah, I was taken to it, given a free pass from my workplace because they gave us all. It wasn't me personally; it was all of us.
Here's a free pass, Steve.
Thank you.
You've been doing so good at work recently.
I deserve this.
And you deserve it.
No.
Oh, here's another one. My favorite place to get catcalled is outside of the Department of Workforce Services. Hashtag let's get to work.
Nice. You get catcalled and then you're like, you can work from home.
You gotta go to work.
How many works is it? I never can remember.
Work. I think it's 7? 8?
While you were gone, I had to make our image for the podcast, our weekly image. It was okay. I didn't have the font isn't quite right. It's really close, but it's not.
Was it a type of impact font though?
No, it wasn't at all.
Oh, I don't know what it was then.
It was. I looked it up because there's a thing called What the Font.
Oh yeah, where you can take like a picture and then it'll kind of like.
I looked it up and it was like super expensive to get the whole family.
Oh,
So
really?
I Googled for a free one and they had like a banner version, but the non-capitalized letters were just regular. And I was like, that's all I need is the non-capitalized letters were capital letters without the banner.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what I need is just capital letters. I could use this free one. Great.
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, man. I'm sure you guys are super interested in hearing Steve and I discuss the type of font that we use in our episode images.
We've been thinking about how difficult it is to grow an audience without a specific niche. We got it. Font families.
Font families.
We're both design experts who work in the field of design.
I'm going to drop this episode in What Font Is This Facebook group and let them go crazy on it.
Yeah.
Actually, someone posted in that group recently, it was like a t-shirt that had papyrus on the back, and the lady who was like, I'm trying to figure out what font this is, and everyone was like, is this a joke? Are you serious? And she got mad because she actually didn't know the name of the font. And so I'm like 90% convinced people don't even try to find the font that they're looking for it. But yeah, it was just like, ooh, lady, and everyone's like, don't use that font, and she's getting mad, and was like, I can use this font however I want, I make stuff on Etsy all the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. So it was a little wacky.
Well, that's pretty wild. One time I once had a tweet about Papyrus the font, actually.
Papyrus, the font.
It was because I was watching some show, and they were
I can't believe I did that. Did that make a noise?
The noise is going to be so crazy.
Geez.
No, it's just going to be a little ding because of this suspension. It's not even going to be a big deal. The suspense
is killing me, Steve.
But ching. Anyway, no, they were interviewing some lady that was at an Egyptian exhibit in a museum, and the exhibit had titles that were in papyrus, and I was like, this is the only appropriate time this could ever be used.
The only acceptable time. I always think it's funny when it's put on restaurant menus. That cracks me up the most. That's like where I've seen it the most, and then like chiropractic clinics.
So the recent trend is to be mad at people who are mad at people who are mad about Comic Sans, because apparently Comic Sans is easier to read for dyslexic people. And I'm like, okay, but that doesn't make it like good. It just means it has a property that is valuable. Yeah. What we should do is study why Comic Sans is good for dyslexic people and make a font that's actually better for them than just being like, well, just use Comic Sans. It's fine.
It's fine. Oh,
What are you, an ableist? You don't like dyslexic people?
Can you confirm that Comic Sans is easier to read as someone who has dyslexia? He's just looking at me now.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
He's like,
what's a Comic Sans?
What's dyslexia? He's like, what did you think I had this whole time? I have asthma.
What a twist.
I'm retarded.
I've got scoliosis. That's what I said.
Twist of the lungs.
My wife has asthma. She's got some like body malformation that makes her lungs bad. Just kidding. Today we were talking. We're getting somebody new on the team at work, and we were talking about how to ask them if they have dietary restrictions. And I was like, ask them if they have some malfunction in their brain or body that makes it so they can't eat certain things.
Oh, man.
Because I thought that was really funny because it implies that vegans have broken brains. Sickest burns. Just kidding.
I have a lot of vegan friends, Steve.
I have a lot of vegan friends, too. It's just a joke, guys. Like, just relax.
No!
You make fun of me, a carnivore. Just kidding. Don't call me a carnivore. I'm omnivorous.
Are you, though?
Yeah, I eat both plants and animals.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I get mad at people because I'm like, your teeth. Have you ever seen your teeth? They're made to eat both things.
Here's another
Nature tells you should eat bacon.
The best thing is just shaving your legs during winter, but then wearing pants. It's like having your own special secret.
Oh!
Did you know dogs could be gluten-free? Who knew? Hashtag the more you know.
My dog is growling now. She's like, don't take away my gluten. I love bread.
Good timing.
I love bread.
Oh, we never talked about our names or what our podcast name was yet, Steve.
What? Plain Donuts?
Yeah, the Plain Donuts podcast.
We've never talked about why we named it that?
Oh, no, just on this episode. We haven't mentioned it.
Oh, hey! Welcome to the Plain Donuts podcast. I am your co-host, Steve.
And I'm your other co-host, Alicia.
Oh, man. Sorry, we're having a weird day.
Yeah.
My wife was getting mad at me earlier because I was trying to, get pumped up. And, I was being really weird. And she's like, you're being really weird trying to get ready for the Steve show. And I was like, it's not called that.
It's obvious. She said, yes, it is.
So
Not
mean.
like our stickers, right, Steve?
Right. We got some stickers. They're really adorbs.
They're really
Alicia did a
cute.
really good job.
Well, thanks.
I was questioning a decision on them, but they turned out fine.
I have one, and I'll post pictures, and then you can vote on which one you like best or something. I don't know. Should we do that?
I don't know. Sure.
All right.
Twitter?
Yeah. So Sticker Mule, actually, which is the company I went through, has this cool thing where once we order a little batch of stickers, you can actually buy them direct from Sticker Mule, and you don't have to go through us to get them. So
Do we get money eventually?
we do.
Oh,
We do get money for that. So if you're interested in that, hit us up, and we will do that thing.
I really wanted to have a moment where I was talking about how good of a service Sticker Mule was and just using cuss words to do it and just having to bleep them because I thought that'd be really funny, but then that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a
lot of work in post, bro.
I kind of want to release this podcast quickly because it's already late.
It is late, which is my fault.
Well, tell us, Alicia, you have so many stories.
I have so many stories. So
okay, so tell us about the land of
the
Ires.
Ires, this land is your land, this land is Ireland. I was in Ireland last week, which is super fun. I went with a friend of mine. We tripped around
With Shannon. We could shout out to Shannon.
Yeah,
it's
we
cool.
visited Shannon, Ireland, which turns out to be a really lame town. Sorry, Shannon. It really was kind of a really boring town.
Did they have a pub?
They had 0 pubs, actually. It kind of felt like a military base. There wasn't really anything besides, and I think it was close to, some sort of base or, airstrip or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of weird. There's only, a Shannon McDonald's and then, Shannon Chinese takeout, and that was about it. So we didn't really get to see.
Shannon Chinese takeout. That
Yeah.
sounds so great.
So
I want to try Chinese takeout in Ireland.
yeah, I'm kind of curious because you know how Chinese food here is Americanized?
Very Americanized.
So I wonder
yeah.
what their Chinese food is. Is it Irishized?
You guys went to
So-
London too, though, right?
Yeah, we were there for a day. So.
Sorry, I was only skipping to London because London is actually known for having some of the best Indian food in the world.
Yeah, it's true. That's where tikka masala came from, which is one of the most popular Indian dishes. It's actually not Indian. It's from the UK.
Weird.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. So.
It's here. Tim McGraw.
Oh my gosh, Otto, I can't believe you
Oh my
just
gosh.
did that. He interrupted our podcast with a video, and he's not even paying
I like
attention.
that. That video was more exciting than we are. It's it's here.
It's here.
You're like, what's here?
What's
Yes.
here? Oh, yes, very much. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted, gosh.
Don't stop the flow. Keep going.
All right. What was I even talking about? Oh, yeah, Indian food.
Yeah.
There's a ton of Indian restaurants, but a lot of Indian people immigrated
Right, yeah.
there, and there's a whole history behind that.
Well,
you know?
yeah, because of the colonialism.
Yeah, pretty
Is that
much.
right?
Colonialism. They decolonized all the way back to the UK.
I know. We were a colony.
Yeah, we're a rowdy
We
colony.
were one of the earliest colonies, maybe. Probably not.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to go watch that History of the World video.
Yeah.
Hashtag memes. We did it.
memes. Yeah.
We're
But
memeing.
it was cool. So we rented a car and we drove all around. And Sarah, one of our guests, actually gave me some good tips about what to do.
Yeah, because she's been to Tipperary. She lived in Tipperary for a while, right?
So she spent a lot of time on West Ireland, I believe, and I spent some time in Galway and Cork, and we went up to Northern Ireland, which is actually part of the UK, and saw Giant's Causeway and the Cliffs of Moher and all that crazy stuff, and it was really cool. So funnily enough, we rented a car and we drove around and nobody died and no one got injured. But as soon as I come back to America, bam, get slapped on the side of my car.
Before we get to that, we're not totally finished talking about Ireland. Like, I don't want to get to the next part. It's so dramatic.
It is a little
I want to build up the
build-up?
anticipation.
Oh, so that's just a little teaser, I guess. Yeah.
So you went to Ireland and you went a little bit to London. Mm-hmm. Let me ask, what was your favorite part? Like, if there was one thing you could pick out, you were like, I really loved that thing.
I don't know, whenever I go to a different country, I really like, there's two kind of silly things. I like to watch their TV shows, like their local TV shows, because that gives you a really good idea of like what kind of place you're in and, you know, like what people are interested in. And it's so weird. Like, Irish TV shows and like Irish radio, they don't make, the Irish radio stations don't make sense because they'll play these games and you don't know that there's a game happening until they're like, all right, we're going to play this game now. And they won't explain the rules and they won't explain the premise of the game. And they'll just do whatever.
And if
like
you're Irish, you just get it?
I guess so. There was one where they had a bunch of people like, all right, you all submitted your phone numbers, and so we're going to call you. And then suddenly they start speaking in Spanish, and they called someone, they said a Spanish phrase, and then the person apparently they called had to respond in a Spanish phrase, and then they won a prize to like a Ed Sheeran concert or something. I was like, what? No one explained anything about what was happening. Like, they didn't say anything at all.
Did you just pull out Ed Sheeran because he's like...
No, it really was like an Ed Sheeran concert.
This guy's from Europe somewhere.
Yeah, he is. Ed Sheeran, interestingly, I learned this, is English and not Irish, but he sings about Irish girls a lot. So maybe he's got a thing for...
Well, he's very redheaded.
He's very redheaded, so...
So it's
he also
possible.
has interesting tattoos.
He also has very interesting eyes, meaning they're never looking in the same place in pictures.
What? Like, his eyes don't look in the same direction?
Yeah, but just in pictures. Like, in life, it's fine, I think. But if you look up pictures of Ed Sheeran, his eyes are going different directions.
I've never noticed that.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to do it now.
Oh, man.
Let's see.
I guess I found out...
this one's a perfect one.
What our cover photo is going to be. You're right! Oh my gosh, he reminds me of like a lizard. What's the name of that lizard that's like starts with an X and it has kind of a funky name?
This one's pretty close. I feel like this one might have been photoshopped a little because it's that's like a little uncanny kind of just like how his... Did we look at this one? Oh man, Ed. Bro, are you okay?
Edward. No. What?
I love Ed Sheeran. He's got an amazing voice.
He seems just like a fun type guy.
Yeah,
funny
well, and
guy.
he dated...
Didn't he date a bunch of models and then ends up dating like his high school girlfriend or something like that?
Well, he wrote that one song, Don't... With My Love, about another singer. What's her name?
Taylor Swift.
No. He played it for Taylor Swift, and Taylor was like, I hope I never make you that angry at me. No, it was...
what if they dated each other? There's like an internet joke about that, like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift dating each other.
Well, they're like really good friends, and I feel like it'd be weird if they...
Can you imagine the albums
Taylor
that would
and
come
Ed
out?
are really good friends. I don't know if they should date. Anyway, Pop culture
podcast. You signed up for this.
This is what you paid for, which is literally nothing. No one is paying anything for this podcast. Do I have to say it again? Just kidding. I am paying something for this podcast. If
you buy our stickers, that would be really cool. Thanks.
You might even be able to get some stickers. I needed to clarify that.
Yeah. Get them. Put them on things.
Get some guns and ammo.
That is a store. Believe it or not,
store.
there is a rifle and gun and ammunition store.
Yeah, I think it's national.
Is it
I think
really?
It's like a national chain. Yeah, let me check.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know there were gun store chains?
I didn't.
Let's see. Well, there's two in Utah. Let's see. Oh yeah, Murray and Layton and Orem. Okay, so it is a chain, but it's only in Utah. Man, I need to get me some guns and ammo. Not really. Okay, so you went to London, you went to Ireland, you found out Ed Sheeran's English, but he likes Irish girls.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I have to figure out the girl that he wrote that song about, or people are gonna be like, Steve, you left us hanging, and I'm like, I just have
which
ADD,
girl,
man.
Which album was it?
Ellie Goulding is
Goulding?
the girl.
He
And,
dated Ellie Goulding?
yeah, and then she
Weird.
broke up with him for one of the One Direction guys, or started
Like
cheating
Zayn?
on him. I don't remember.
I feel like that's the only guy that I could leave Ed Sheeran for would be Zayn.
Well, his eyes do go in different directions.
He reminds me of that lizard whose name I can't remember. Or like a cartoon character a little bit. At least those pictures make him look like that.
Let's see. I'm Googling it.
Do you think
Niall Horan is
I don't know who that is.
He's one of the One Direction guys.
Man, I don't know anyone besides Harry Styles and Zayn.
Yeah, me neither. Harry Styles has been dressing weird lately.
He's did he go on his own?
Yeah, so did Niall Horan.
Oh, they're all on their own now.
He released a song, but Zayn's music is still
Zayn's
hands
music
down
is
the
like-
best.
It's like...
Oh, really? This guy? Man, British people have such a low bar for beauty. No, I'm just joking.
Snap. Don't
I'm
say
just
that.
joking.
We have one UK listener, Steve.
I think it is Lin-Manuel Miranda, but
is
it's
Lin-Manuel
probably
Miranda.
not.
But it's
No, I'm just
probably
joking.
not.
I think it's only like I think it's like the men. I'm not being like sexist or anything. It's men in the UK that are not attractive. These men are very unattractive.
Would you consider Ed Sheeran unattractive?
Yes, but
What?
no.
Oh,
Like Ed Sheeran is not like Ed Sheeran's like, "Oh, hey guys, I walked into the room and I'm Ed Sheeran." And he's like all he's like all red-haired and short and like kind of weird looking. His eyes are going different directions. And then he like pulls out his weird little guitar and starts playing. His guitar is weird and small. I'm not saying that like
How
derogatorily.
big do you think it is, like, compared to a normal person? Like,
It's
if you
probably he's not that small.
Well, okay. What about like if Otto held
He just uses
Ed Sheeran's guitar?
He just uses one of the smaller body acoustic guitars. Is all. It's fine. I think he doesn't use like a.
Are
wide
you saying
body or
he
anything.
uses a ukulele as a regular
No.
guitar, Steve? Because he's
No.
so tiny.
That's not what I'm saying.
Ugh.
Then he like sings with this angel voice, and you're like, I would bed this man.
So much for our family-friendly rating.
That's
Just
fine.
kidding.
Nobody knows. Yeah, we have so much for our family-friendly rating in the mid 1800s.
Would you lay with that man, Steve?
Would you lie with him in the biblical sense, heathen?
Even?
Anyway, no, I'm not gay. That's not. Anyway, this is Niall. That's him.
Niall.
That's the one. That's the one that Ed Sheeran didn't think was a threat.
Oh,
Remember in the song?
I don't remember that song.
Don't with my love. You don't remember that song? It's really good.
Really? I'd have to listen. I mean, I realize I've been listening to a lot of Ed Sheeran songs because for a while I didn't like get his songs, if that makes any sense. I'm like, I'm not really sure why it's popular. It's just kind of like,
Just a
everyday stuff.
singer-songwriter.
And then he like came out with like his newest album, and I'm like, this is so good. Like I understand it now. Like I understand Ed Sheeran finally.
Did you know that he co-wrote "Love Yourself" with Justin Bieber?
Oh, I did not. know
Yeah,
that.
he did.
Nice. That's a good one. Although, Where Are You Now is still my favorite Justin Bieber song. So, with that Diplo,
Diplo or whatever.
Diplo.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
that.
That's good.
Where Are You Now made me think of "Look at Me Now,"
Oh, yeah.
Getting Paper.
Getting paper.
Anyway,
Can you...
this is what you signed up for.
Can you do the Best of Rhymes section of Look at Me Now?
Yes, so easy.
Oh, yeah? You should do it.
No, I don't know how it goes at all. I could never do any Busta Rhymes
Dude,
raps.
Best of Rhymes, especially in that one, too. It's like really like...
Hey, my buddy Sean, while we were recording right now, he liked our page Plain
Oh,
Donuts.
yeah.
Just right now. That's number 68, dog!
Oh, we
Facebook.
just need one more.
Nice. Oh, man. So, also, before we get to the rest of your story, I've been tweeting to Griffin McElroy.
Oh.
I keep sending him
Yeah.
messages.
Did he respond?
He's not responded
Oh,
yet.
man. Maybe you should
I
start
think-
directing it to Lin-Manuel.
No, I think... Because that doesn't make sense for Lin-Manuel.
I know
but
he might think it's, like, really funny. Like, who's this dude that keeps sending me, like, things that have 69
Right.
on
Well,
it?
I think eventually Griffin McElroy will see it. I'm sure he's seen these posts and just been like, whatever. Like everybody does these dumb, nice jokes. but I just keep sending them to him. I'm just gonna continue doing it.
Never give up, Steve.
Yes.
Just like I'll never give up that Lin-Manuel Miranda will eventually see me.
Yeah,
I looked for you and you weren't there, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
She went to the set.
I went to find you.
She went to your house.
I literally came to your house and you weren't there. You wouldn't open the door for me. Hashtag rude.
You didn't go to his house, though,
No,
right?
I did not go to his house.
I don't even know where that would be.
I don't
in
know
London.
where it is either.
It's probably a big secret.
In what area of London was I? I was in the Borough Market area, which is actually very like hipster. Everything is made out of shipping containers and pallets there, and everything is a farmer's market, and there are no regular like stores. Ooh.
That was one of the nice ones.
Nice.
And you and Otto are on it.
I'm on that one.
Dang, I wish... Can you tag photos after the fact? You
I think so.
Can't. Not on Twitter. Oh, man. We're so in our phones right now.
So good.
Happy podcast. Okay, so I think we're done talking about Europe. Is that okay?
That's fine.
How are the flights back? Because I remember you didn't have a return flight booked,
yeah,
right?
I did. So, actually, yeah, that's a good story. So, we flew to London. We were in London for a day, and then after that, we flew to Ireland, to Dublin.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have tickets back from Dublin to London at the time, but we're like, we don't know what our itinerary is. Maybe we're going to fly out of Cork or the Shannon Airport or, whatever. There's lots of places to fly out. So we're going through immigration, or customs and immigration, and, this dude's chatting with us, like, you guys here on holiday, blah, 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 the usual stuff, asking us, like, how long we're going to be here, and then he asks us, do you have your return flights? Yeah. Can I see that? And we're like, actually, we don't. And he went from, like, being so nice to, like, cracking down immediately. He was like, okay, I need to see, like, he starts asking us for all this information, like, starts really grilling us, like, about where we're going, and, like, asking all these questions, and we're like, well, we just didn't, maybe we just didn't plan well. We just thought we'd keep an open trip.
I have a question, because, there are, like, this is kind of weird, right? There are, like, female terrorists in terrorist cells. Mm-hmm. Do female terrorists not wear their hijab in public?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what that would look like.
Why don't you know, Alicia?
Because I am the token brown person. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of me or it's just because we both happen to not have return flights, and he thought that was really suspicious or something. But then he has to see our bank accounts because he wanted to see if we had enough money to buy tickets to leave.
So that was like the concern, like maybe these girls are just not... They're gonna come here to try to get some money.
Yeah, it was
How are you gonna get money for the return flights?
Yeah, so I had to open up, and it was really stressful because my phone was at like 5%, and I didn't have a charge, and Shannon's phone wasn't connecting to like their airport Wi-Fi. So I was like, okay, like I got. And meanwhile, this dude is like talking to this other guy. They like have all of our documents laid out, and they're like looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're gonna keep us in. They're gonna arrest us. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. So I finally showed him my bank information, and he was like, all right, well, next time you come to a country, plan on leaving the country or something like that. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. I'll leave the country whenever, dude. So I got my passport stamped, and then he let us in.
Was he an Englishman?
He was an Irishman.
Oh, okay. Were you like, I'd be mad at you for saying these rude words, but your accent makes it better?
Yeah, it was more like, I understand why you would be suspicious of us, I guess. Mm-hmm. But it was also kind of a weird, like, being very cordial to, like, being very not...
Yeah, like...
Yeah, like, well, that's over. Like, we're not friends. And so it was weird.
Okay. So that was... But did you have your return flights to the U.S. booked when you went over there?
Yes, we did. Okay. So, but he just, for some reason, like, that was not enough, like... It wasn't good enough for him.
Weird.
So I was like, okay, well, here you go, dude.
You can't just be coming to London and staying.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, bro. Like, I didn't mean to, like...
Brexit has really been bad to this
Yeah,
country.
I just, I came over here to see the effects of Brexit, and I'm seeing it firsthand. And they're also... Ireland is, like, a very politically charged country, too, just because of their history against,
right,
like,
yeah.
getting out of the United Kingdom and all that. But there was... they had signs everywhere that says, like, we want the Irexit. And I'm like, that's not... clever, it's like how we're turning everything into gate now. Like, we can't say Irexit. That doesn't make any sense. Like, that's not funny. So, yeah, I almost wanted to, like, write a thing, like, come up with a more clever slogan of, like, leaving the European Union, you nerds. But I would just be an imposing American.
Who
that
wants
was being loud.
Irexit?
I don't know. People, apparently, they're like, the European Union is, taking all of Ireland's resources, and I don't know about any of the politics there, so I just was like, this is just a bad name, so that was my only opinion. So.
Yeah, and you're devaluing the euro or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't care. I don't know
like,
anything about it. Welcome to the middle of the episode. As you can hear, it's your co-host Steve. Just wanted to say, as always, thank you again for listening. You guys are the very best listeners. We love donut holes, which is what, remember, you voted to name yourselves. Anyway, if you want to find this episode or any other episode of the podcast, you can find all that information at yourplaindonuts.com. There will be links to episodes there. You can also find links to all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. And actually, it's really helpful if you would share out with your friends on that social media. That's what it's there for. Share it with your friends. Let them know that there's a sweet podcast that you listen to called Plain Donuts and that you're a donut hole. And no, that's not something derogatory. Anyway, there's also links on yourplaindonuts.com to iTunes, so if you would do us a huge favor there and leave us a rating and a review, we're really trying to impress Apple CEO Tim Cook. So that'd be really great of you to leave a rating and review on iTunes. Anyway, I'm sorry for asking you to do so much. I just love that you're listeners, and if you love the podcast, you want to share, you want to help, those are the things you can do. If you don't love the podcast, sorry. If you don't want to share, okay. All right. Enjoy the rest of the show. See you later. So you made it back.
Made it back.
And then, was it the very next day that you were going to work or something? Or?
It was not the very next day, because I flew in, like, Sunday night, and then, like, the next day I was like, jet lag, this is really awful.
Did you take the day off? Did you already have the day off?
I actually worked Monday.
Monday?
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
because I hate myself. But
yeah, that sounds terrible.
And yeah, so then the next day I like woke up early because it's kind of weird. Like once you come back in time, it's like easier, but you're just like awake super early in the day, and then by like 6 o'clock, you're like, oh, I want to go to sleep. So
like me right now, kind of.
Yeah. You seem pretty peppy though for feeling sleepy.
I had to turn it on for the show.
Oh. Turns it off when he wants. He turns it on when he wants.
That's right. That's what being a professional. I don't know what I'm saying. Just a guy who cares, I guess.
Yeah. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So on Tuesday, like morning, I was like, I woke up early and I'm like, I have plenty of time. I'm gonna go get a coffee. I'm gonna take the early train in and get to work early and get my stuff done. Blah blah blah. So. Got my coffee, got my sandwich, and...
Where did you get coffee?
I got coffee at Cafe Mercantile.
Oh, cool,
on
26th
Street. Probably
it's
one
like
of my favorites.
It's like a local place.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It reminds me of, like, a New York coffee shop. So, I don't know, it's just kind of, like, homey sort of
nice,
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did you have a
coffee.
pour-over?
I did not have a pour-over. I had a latte.
Okay.
With Irish cream, because I was feeling spirited from my adventures.
Is it wrong to put like cream in your pour over? Do people get mad about that?
I don't know. I'm sure some coffee people get mad about
Yeah.
it. But I think it's just like drink it how you want
There
to,
are some
man.
places out there who are like,
It's just like-
we don't have cream or sugar
Yeah.
in our restaurant.
And you're just like, well, I'm going to go get cream and sugar then?
Yeah,
At some
but-
other place.
Bring it in with me in a flask.
Yeah. Just while you like make eye contact with them and just pour it
You're
all over
just like-
counter.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's happening.
Am I ruining your coffee?
Yeah.
No, I'm having it the way I like it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, so
So you got your coffee and
got
your
my
what kind of
coffee?
sandwich was it?
It was a breakfast sandwich.
Sorry, I'm really dragging this out. Did it have bacon?
It did have bacon, and I added bacon. Or actually, no, it had ham, and I added avocado onto it because I like avocado.
Oh, that's
So
why you can't buy a
treated
house.
myself. Yeah, it's because I'm buying too many lattes and avocado.
That's
So
right.
That's why my credit's a mess, Steve.
No, it's not.
And I just
I've seen your
can't-
credit report.
You seen my credit report?
No, I haven't.
I was like, did I show you that? I showed somebody my credit report. Because I was like, look, it's improving, or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Shannon sent me a picture. Well, not me. I think she just posted it on Snapchat or something. Just a picture of her credit score.
Yeah.
And I was like, great job, Shannon. You're better than all of us. We get it. Just kidding. Good job, Shannon, and your credit score.
And I bet she can afford to put avocado on all of her toasts.
Oh man, on my Facebook post, laughing responses are dead heat with like responses.
Oh, snap. Should I break the
Nobody's
tie?
mad yet. No.
You want me to, like, just throw in...
No.
Oh, I wish I could throw in a thankful response, like,
Oh,
for Mother's
yeah.
Day, because those were hilarious. There was one dude who was only, like... While that thing was available, that Facebook response, he was only being thankful on all my posts, which was weird. But I think that was just like a funny thing to do. Like,
Was he
instead-
old?
No, he's like
Okay.
my age, so I thought that was really funny.
Just pulling a meme.
Like a funny meme-ish prank.
He was memeing on you.
Yeah, he was memeing.
Memeing on you. Nice, Post Malone.
Yeah,
He listens to this podcast.
he does.
Uh-huh.
Because we're cool. And we quote his songs.
Oh yeah, we did quote. He would like that actually. He would like memeing on you.
Yeah. Do you think he's on Twitter?
Yeah, he is. I follow him on Twitter.
Really? We gotta like.
I'm gonna
at
message him after this one and
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, listen to our cover on our podcast. It's at minute 34."
And he'll
It's
listen to it and be
memeing
like,
on you. What are these guys talking
Yeah,
about?
this is weird.
This podcast isn't funny at all.
Yeah, and then he'll like rate us 1 star.
I wish that guy would be more entertaining. Yeah, we would have like
ah.
10 out of 10 5 stars.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's so confusing. So 10 of our ratings are 5 stars and then one star.
1 star.
Yeah, that's okay. We'd be getting a little bit of that, mix in
Yeah.
stuff.
Even though it'd be totally bogus.
It would be, oh man. I can't feel bad that Post Malone listened to our podcast and rated us 1 star.
Yeah.
Like, we affected him so much that he went
was
to
like-
rate us.
Yeah, he took the time out of his day to come over and be
He's
like,
like,
this
"I'll rate
podcast is
that."
terrible.
I'll rate that podcast. It's bad.
It's bad. Don't like this.
Oh, my friend gave us such a good review. Actually, it was really funny.
Oh, really? Like in iTunes?
No.
In person?
Maybe. I haven't checked
Oh.
recently, but no, she sent it to me because I asked her to listen to it because she actually is an active listener of podcasts.
Ah,
and I
nice.
was like, where do you find people like you?
Yeah. Like,
So-
you're such a unicorn.
I know.
You're so
you
rare.
you actually listen to podcasts. Like, people talk about how they listen to podcasts on podcasts,
yeah.
like, all the time.
I think only podcast producers listen to
That's it.
podcasts.
It's just a very incestuous group.
Yeah, it's just a circle.
So anyway, so she sent me a review and she like quoted my review of my friend Joelle from the Glistening Nipple episode to review our podcast, and she's like, haha, thanks for writing my review for me. And I was like,
That's funny.
That's so good.
That's pretty
You did a
good.
good job. You done good.
That was a pretty good, that was a clever title.
Glistening Nipple.
Glistening Nipple.
It was pretty
So,
good, yeah.
props, yeah.
To you.
I thought you came up with
I
it.
thought you came up with
I
it.
don't know.
You said you wanted to call it Glistening Nipple because it was like It was like provocative. Yeah, you did it.
Oh.
I just had the jokes.
Oh.
Okay.
Comes with jokes.
Guys, we are 36 minutes into the podcast
snap.
and we still haven't gotten to the crux of
big
the story.
reveal.
Okay, so you got your sandwich.
My
Were you
sandwich.
eating your sandwich in the car?
I was not eating my sandwich in the car.
Okay.
I was actually not even drinking my latte in the car because I don't like to do that because I like to have both hands free.
You had enough time in the morning to stop and drink your coffee and eat your sandwich before you drove to work?
Yeah, well, I was going to go to the station and then eat it there.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, you stopped in the restaurant and like, wow.
Wow, my time is, I don't have that much
That
luxury.
is such a luxury,
Yeah.
like, just to stop. I'm going to go just have a coffee.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I don't have enough time in the mornings. Usually I'm not, like, awake enough in the morning to, like, think about, like, oh, I want to really enjoy my coffee this morning.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not me. I'm more
Only
like...
freaks do that.
Yeah, people who are, like, very morning people and, like, wake up at
There are people
5.
listening to the podcast
Yeah.
right now who are like, I'm not a freak.
I'm a freak.
Guys, learn to take a joke because it was just a joke. I love you so much.
Steve loves you so much his heart could burst.
It hurts so bad. I'm having a love heart attack.
Guy's throwing up.
My left arm love hurts.
Got a love aneurysm there, Steve.
Anyway, okay, so you didn't have your stuff. You were gonna go to the station.
I was gonna go to the station.
Okay, so what happened?
Everything. So I'm driving down. I have a green light. So green means go, right?
Yeah.
When you're in a car.
Yeah.
And so I go down. It's like on 24th Street, so I'm traveling towards the station.
Mm-hmm.
And I glance to my left, and I see a car. And you know how, like, weird things happen when, like, I never had experiences before, so I would not be able to speak to this except for this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Before, like, any really crazy thing happens to you, like, time slows down a little bit. And I remember thinking to myself before this car was gonna, like, T-bone my car, like, it's just like bumper cars. Like, that's what I thought that in my head. Like,
Wow.
you just have to treat it like bumper cars. Like, in my brain, that was, like, the rational thing to think.
Okay.
And so I thought that, and, like, I was, like, really stiff, and they hit me, and none of my airbags went off, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but...
Yeah.
Because they were going, like, 40.
Jeez.
So, and my car didn't flip, but our cars did get stuck together.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and then my coffee spilled on me, and it happened really quick, and so I
The
thought...
coffee you hadn't even drank
Yeah, it
yet.
was really hot. So when it spilled on my leg, I thought, oh my gosh, the car is on fire. Like, because I hadn't, like, had a chance to look down,
Yeah,
but, like, I felt it, like,
course.
burning me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, the car's on fire. I'm gonna die in a flaming car. And then, like, after 2 seconds, you know, I, like, kind of am like, oh, all right, like, I'm cool. I'm not bleeding. You know, nothing's happening. And I see, it's just hot coffee spilled all over me. Like, it's fine. So... I look over, you know, the person who hit me is like, are you okay? Because they ran a red light, so it was not my fault. Someone else just hit me. And so I was like, yeah, I'm cool. And I just kind of sat there for a second thinking, like, what happens next? Like, I don't know. Do I call 911? Does someone else call 911? And so I called 911 just because I thought that was the thing to do.
Yeah, of course.
And so then I was providing way too much information because I started to give it, like, my license plate number, and they're like, no, it's okay. Like, you don't have to...
Hey, at least you have information. Okay, I accidentally called 911. We were cleaning my car, so my phone was connected to the car. It was just on while we were, like, listening to music and cleaning it. And on an Apple Watch, yes, I have an Apple Watch. Just kidding. I got it from
Part of the bourgeoisie, are you, Steve?
Seriously, I'm the 1%. I'm one of those guys who's gonna get my head chopped off when the Renaissance happens. No, I got an Apple Watch for my birthday because my wife, like, gathered money from all the people who were gonna give me stuff for my birthday, and that's what we got. So anyway, she did a very good job, and people are like, "Wow, you're so rich. You have an Apple Watch," and I'm like, I never have this much free cash. I
actually remember running into you before you went and got the Apple Watch, and you had a roll. Like a roll of cash, and I was like, "What you doing with that roll of cash, Steve?" So,
what you gonna do with
he's like,
all
I'm gonna
that
buy an
cash?
Apple Watch. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go, like, get drugs or something. So.
No, just an Apple Watch.
Just a regular Apple Watch.
So anyway, yeah. Sorry. We were cleaning my car, and if you hold down the crown of the Apple Watch for long enough, it will make an emergency call for
really?
you. So I was like
That's
leaning.
kind of inconvenient, I feel like.
Well, kind of super convenient.
yeah, I
like,
guess it depends on... Oh.
So I was cleaning with my right hand and leaning on my left hand, and my
Uh-huh.
left hand was pressing the crown apparently, and I didn't know. And finally, like, I hear this noise, and I look down, and it's like making an emergency call, and I was like, "What?" And then the Bluetooth is connected in the car, so it starts ringing, and it's like 911. What's your emergency? And I was like, "This was an accidental call. Sorry." They're like, "It's okay. Bye." I think they wanted to. They usually try to ask more questions, but I was just like, "Nope, see ya." You know? They didn't call back or anything. So
I think they try and call back at least once, like if it's an accidental call and they don't like get any feedback, right? If they don't hear anything. So from what I remember vaguely from my emergency response friends. So.
I once called 911 because we thought someone was in our basement. I'll have to tell that story on the podcast sometime. Someone anyway.
I called 911 only a few times. I think one time for when it was when we lived in Oklahoma and a tree fell on our house and like smashed the house.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know what to call. And I called 911 and then I like talked to her for a second before the electricity went out. This was back in the day where your phone was connected to the wall. So that was that situation. And then the second time was when someone was like shooting a gun in the street. And so I was like, you know, I don't think this is when I was in Utah. So no, if it was in New York, I'd be like, oh, whatever, you know, people are shooting each other. It sounds really bad. But, like, if you hear it, like, nearby, I was like, well, someone's probably trying to shoot, like, to kill someone, or, like, I don't know what's happening, so I called 911 then, so.
Yeah. I called, maybe do you want to hear a story? It's a really good story.
Promise?
Yeah, so.
Is it at least 4 out of 5 stars?
Yeah. So
Promise?
This is right around the time we were like trying to sell our house, and it really freaked us out. But like one day we were sleeping. I remember specifically it was a Saturday night, and we were asleep, and I got woken up because I like heard voices in my basement, and it was like 2 guys talking, and I heard one guy say, "Take that tool belt too," and I was like, "What?" And I didn't think at the time, I don't think I have a tool belt in my basement, but maybe they're talking about some tools they brought with them or something. So I don't know. I was just like, oh crap. So like, so we like closed our bedroom door all the way, and I called 911, and I was like, there's guys in our basement. They're stealing our stuff right now.
I have a feeling I know.
And they're like, we're sending police there right now. And I was like, okay, goodbye. So then my wife like heard some noise. I was freaked out. Like, there was just blood pumping in my ears so bad. And my wife was like, wait, is that a video playing in the basement? And so I was like, I don't know. So I opened the door and I like snuck down the stairs a little, and it was kind of split. And I heard in our office some guys playing WoW talking over each other, like, grab that tool belt. We're going to build our guild house or whatever. And I was like, I can't believe I called 911 for this. So I went and stopped it, and I called them back, and I was like, I'm so stupid. My cat must have started a video in my basement or something. I'm sorry. They're like, we're still going to send the cops. And so I like answered the door in my underwear when they came, and I was like, sorry. I was watching WoW videos earlier, and my cat turned it on later. Sorry, guys. And they're like, okay, see ya. But like,
they're like being like,
yeah, they were like very suspicious that something was actually wrong.
Although I guess that probably happens a lot where someone like in domestic violence situations. Like, I can imagine like it would behoove them to be more suspicious than not. So
I asked my friend, who worked in dispatch, if while she was in dispatch, something like that ever happened, and she's like, never happened to me. And I was like, great, I'm an idiot. Thanks. But man, really that was the crazy thing about it is we knew nothing was wrong, right?
Yeah.
We figured out later, obviously nothing was wrong. No one had broken in, but I still felt like fully violated.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my house is ruined now. Like,
it's a good thing you moved. That's why you really moved.
Yeah, because I was violated by that YouTube video.
Grab that tool belt right there, Steve.
Oh man, it was so stupid.
I'm gonna like hide a recorder in your house and then like, or like one of those Alexa things, and then start playing like voices of me.
I also called 911 one time when I was in an accident.
Like
That was
you.
all. Yeah, Phoenix has really, really, really bad roads. Like they're like one of the worst cities in the nation.
Like bad as in like the infrastructure is poor?
No, like
or bad as in like
driving.
the signage and driving is bad?
Driving.
Okay.
And it's actually not just the nation. They have like 2 of the worst intersections in the
Weird.
world or something. I had to go to driving school because I got in a car accident where if you know my driving, my wife is like, Steve drives like a grandma. Like, I leave a lot of space in front of me because I'm like, I don't want to have to stop fast.
Yeah.
I just don't want to, you know? And so I must have been distracted. I'm pretty sure what happened is I was looking to the right, and the car that was in the lane next to me moved into my lane. And then when I looked back, there was a red light, and they had stopped, and I didn't have time to stop, so I rear-ended them, and they rear-ended somebody else, and I had to call 911. This is a week after I moved to Phoenix,
that
the
sucks.
day after my dad left. So I was all alone.
Yeah, you're like, great, this is great.
Right after high school, I was a child, basically, still.
Yeah. It's interesting that they rear-ended someone else, because I know that they specifically say, like, when you're in, I don't know, like, driving school, that you're supposed to leave enough room, even, like, in between cars at stoplights, because that situation is really common, and that way you're not hitting someone else and, like, causing more of a problem for everybody, so...
Yeah. But they were basically
reactions.
like, yeah, we won't put this, since you have such a good driving record, we won't put this accident on your record if you go to driving school.
Oh.
And I was like, I have to spend like 5 hours at this school being taught how to drive safely, basically, which I already was doing. It just was a fluke accident. There were people there who were like, I've had like 4 DUIs, so I just want to keep my license. And I'm like, I've had 1 accident, and this is my only
You
ticket
probably
like
should
ever.
take away their license.
Yeah,
for
it
DUI.
wasn't really. I think I was exaggerating, but
Well, wasn't Friday mentioning that that's like a really common thing? I feel like he mentioned that at one point
He
in
might
one of his
have.
videos or something. Maybe I'm making this completely up, and he's like, "No, you're a liar, Alicia." But he totally sounds like a very nasally, like teen boy.
no, Alicia,
"Oh,
you're
Alicia,
so-
I know more about.
My name's
Phoenix.
Friday,
My name's
and I drive
Friday,
motorcycle."
and I drive motorcycle to the dinner.
Friday's so awesome.
He's gonna like unfriend
I
me
feel so
on
bad.
I don't know whatever
He's gonna-
social media.
and
he
he's
follows.
definitely gonna listen to this show and be like, "You guys."
You guys are so stupid.
Oh man! If you haven't heard about Friday, go watch Friday's the Bomb on YouTube. His stuff is really good.
Yeah, his stuff is really good.
really
It's
like
good
it.
cinematic nonsense.
And check out the episode Taking Back Friday
Yeah, because he talks about us.
because he's on that episode with us.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Friday. I really like that guy.
We just like spam him with, I don't know, with our attention.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We like flood him with attention. He'll
Yeah.
be okay with us making fun of his non-nasally voice. I think
'cause
once.
doesn't he actually kind of has like a deep
Yeah,
voice,
he does.
right?
He has a deep voice.
So-
Like, and it's like, it's so nice to hear. Like, it's just such a like. His voice is like I would converse with this dude for
It's
a
got
long
like
time.
good,
Just
well, like when he watches it, it's like a good narrating voice. Anyways, sorry, I keep like being like, oh, he's so cool.
okay, so we got to go back to your accident
Yeah.
though. So you sat in your car. You shouldn't have tensed up. That's the thing that they say is like if
Yeah.
you get hurt more, you get hurt worse if you tense up before an
Yeah.
accident happens.
So
So
I should
anyway.
go back and tell my past self that.
You should. Sorry. I thought you were a good driver, so I
Oh,
just
yeah.
didn't think you needed that advice. I'm just kidding.
Gosh, Steve,
So anyway,
so rude.
Oh man, we're never gonna get to anything.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It was kind of like I got T-boned. My car may or may not be totaled. I was supposed to find out today, but
Yeah.
the value of my car, I mean, the repairs might cost more than the actual value of my car.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know what that's going to look like just because it was a lot of body damage and there's going to have to be a lot of replacements and it's going to be pretty expensive just because I think like I don't know, what's the thing that connects your wheel to your
Your steering column?
Yeah. but like the underneath, like the axle.
The drive axle.
Yeah, I think that was
So
broken.
the drive axle is what actually like turns your engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was. I think
Yeah, if your
was,
drive axle's busted, that's a costly expense.
Yeah, and like at least 1/4 of my car is like really jacked up. So.
Wow.
And I think I guess it was kind of lucky too that the airbags didn't go off, even though she was driving pretty fast when she hit me. Because when I saw her, I kind of like tried to turn out of the way, like instinctively.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I got to get out of here. And I, obviously that didn't work out, but a majority of the impact hit like the engine and the like my door, and then also just like the wheel of the car, so it was bent like underneath the car.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like a factor, or if my airbags sucked and just were like, man, we're not gonna go off.
Oh, jeez.
But I don't remember hitting my head, but I could have, and I just didn't remember. But I don't know. The only other time I've hit my head and had a concussion was when I probably told the story already about when I was snowmobiling with Shannon.
No, we haven't told that story.
Yeah.
But we probably, let's save it for another one. Unless you really want to tell it right now.
I gotta tell the snowmobile story.
All right, go
it's
for
an
it.
accident story.
Go for it.
I'll be quick. But we were snowmobiling a couple years ago. It was like at Strawberry Point. The snow was super, super deep. Like I'm talking several feet deep. And I had gotten off the trail of the snowmobile trail. I'm like, oh, well, I was with Shannon and her family, so I'm trying to get back up. And I'm like in this valley canyon thing. And so I see a point where it looks like a relatively smooth slope to get back up onto the trail. So when the snow's so deep, you really have to like gun it to get it moving, because the pressure of the snowmobile is just packing down the snow.
Yeah.
So I gun it, and I get to the point where it starts to slope, and then I just hit the side of it. It wasn't a slope, it was more like a right angle.
Oh no.
But because of the snow, it looked like
a slope.
So I essentially ran a snowmobile just into the side of the mountain. And it was because it was so like, I had a helmet on, but because it was getting fogged up and I was trying to see where I was going, I actually like put the lid up and I had it unstrapped, which is so stupid. So I hit the mountain, I smacked my forehead down on the handlebars, and then I kind of like go over to the side, and meanwhile Shannon and her family are like watching me, and her mom's screaming, and I kind of get up out of the snow, I'm like, I'm okay, and like blood is like coming out of my face, and
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
Yeah, pretty much. And so she's like, oh my god. So, like eventually the snowmobile got stuck, so we had to abandon it, and I rode on the back of Shannon's snowmobile.
Oh, jeez.
And I have to like keep putting the faceplate up, because I'll put it down, but then my face will hurt so bad, because it's just I smacked my full face on it. Thankfully I didn't like lose teeth or anything.
Yeah.
So I would put it back up, so it was like -4 degrees or -5 degrees, so it was so cold. I'm like, if I can't feel my face, it can't hurt. And actually, when I crashed, a portion of my snow pants got like yanked up, and I actually have frostbite on a part of my skin.
Oh no!
Because on my leg, but because I didn't feel it because I was so busy worrying about how my face hurt that I couldn't feel it. So, anyways,
I can't feel my face if it's frozen.
It's frozen. Yeah. So ended up going back.
Anyway,
the next day I was like kind of feeling weird, because it was like the 20th, it was like, so it was Christmas Day, then the 26th went snowmobiling, 27th, I had to go back to work, and I was like so stiff, and I just couldn't, I was like looking at my computer screen, and I couldn't focus. I'm like, I'm feeling really like weird, like I don't know, like I'm just not feeling myself, and like my neck really hurts because I obviously like whipped it, like I whipped my head back and forth into the front part of the snowmobile. And so so I ended up like I think I just called the doctor, and I did like a video consultation, because I'm like, I don't want to have to go in like and get an MRI, because that's expensive.
What doctor gives you a video consultation?
It was like some fancy insurance thing that I had at the time.
Oh, that's so nice.
So it was like essentially like FaceTiming your doctor, like, well, I hear my symptoms.
I want to FaceTime the vet sometimes and just be like, my dog's acting a little weird.
My dog ate this crap. Is it poisonous? And they're like, no, 90% of the time. But
Anyway, so you FaceTimed your doctor?
And they're like, that's like, and he's, I was just like kind of mentioning my symptoms. Like, I feel like I can't focus. Like, I can't like look at my eyes won't focus on things. Like, I feel weird. I feel kind of like sick to my stomach. And he's like, well, sounds like you have a concussion. And he's like, well, you can come in for an MRI to like confirm it, but it sounds just like a mild one, so I won't make you like pay for that. And I'm like, he's just like, just take it easy, lay down, don't look at screens, and don't do any physical activity. And I was like, great. Well, so that was the first time I had an accident and had a concussion.
Okay, so you had a car accident, you've tensed up, you called 911, and then what happened?
And then I'm talking to the lady on 911. She's asking me, are there any injuries? Like, are you hurt? And I like thought about how my leg burned, and then that's when I like realized like, oh, it was just the coffee. Like, nothing was like on fire. So I get out of my car. Well, I didn't get out of my car because she asked me like, are there any, like, is the other driver injured? Like, how many other people are involved? I'm like, it just looks like one person to me, at least from my perspective. So I'm like, all right, I'll go out. So I kind of get up and I kind of like stumble out of the car and go over, and I'm trying to ask this lady if she's okay, but she's on the phone, I'm assuming, with 911 also. So I'm like, all right, well, and I'm like, I think she's fine. They're like, all right, well, we'll send an officer out to the scene and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm like, all right. And then she's asking me, like, so where are you exactly? Like, what's going on? I'm like, well, we're in the middle of the intersection right now. Should I move my car? And I was like, I don't know. I was like feeling like my adrenaline and like shock was like super high. Yeah. So I wasn't feeling like I was making sense or anything. I probably wasn't. And so they're like, all right, well, just try and get your car out of the road. So our cars were stuck together. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. And I don't know who this lady is. So I'm like, I guess we got to move our cars. And she tries to back up out of my car, but my car is like really stuck. Yeah. And the wheel's totally jacked. So I put my car in reverse, and my engine's like making some weird sounds, right? You're like, and I'm like, oh gosh. But I still like pull it out because I'm like, I gotta do what they told me to do, like regardless of if this is dangerous or not. So get the cars unstuck. You got them unstuck without help. I got unstuck without help. Oh wow. So, but yeah, we both reversed, and meanwhile, while this is happening, everybody is driving around us like it's normal. What? Like, cars are rushing, like, driving around my car in the intersection. Like, they're going with the lights. Like, no one stops. And I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to get my car out of the way, and people are still, like, almost hitting me because they're driving past me. I'm like, you guys, like, just stop for you saw an accident, just stop for 2 seconds. Please stop for 2 seconds. And then
that's what's crazy. Did anybody stop that saw the accident?
Eventually, once I got my car over to the side of the road, and it was just like, I don't even know, my wheel was not, like, it wasn't functioning, so it kind of did more of like a this sort of thing, and then like kind of pulled over. But once I got over and I got out of the car, like 4 people came up to me and were like, I saw that, like I saw the whole thing, like it wasn't your fault, blah blah. And I'm still kind of like zoned out, like, okay.
were they talking to the person who hit you?
They were talking to me.
Were they talking to that person?
No, they like left her. She was like still over to the side, and she's like crying.
They're like, she's horrible. Yeah, you need care.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't, I don't understand. And then the lady who hit me comes over and starts talking to me, and, she's apologizing. And I'm like, it's just a mistake. It's fine. Like, no one got injured, whatever. And she's like, oh, I gotta, like, I was on my way to school. I'm a first grade teacher. I gotta call and make sure the kids are okay. No. And I was like, I tried to make a joke because I was...
What a great idea.
I was like, this is a great opportunity for a joke, because I know I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and I'm like, well, this is probably like the least stressful thing to happen to you today. So she's a teacher, and that's like a stressful job. Right. But then she starts crying, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't a funny joke. And then she was crying, and then all of like the emotion of the situation like came upon me, and I would start crying. Oh no. And we were both crying, and then like the officer came over and was like, oh, it seems like you two don't need to be separated. Usually in situations like this, people start fighting. And I was like, so
why would I guess whatever people. Yeah. It just seems weird to me to start fighting with someone who hit you, because it's like,
what's that gonna do? Like they're already gonna have to pay for my stuff. Like it's not, I won't have to look for that.
Was she traveling west?
She was traveling south. I was traveling west.
Okay, so it doesn't matter in that case, because even the sun doesn't. Yeah, I was thinking of like the evening when it's really hard to see going west.
But it was like 7:30 in the morning, so
Yeah.
it was still pretty early. The sun hadn't like come over the mountains, but I think she just said like she looked away or something happened because the light had been green for like a while because I was coming down the hill and I don't remember pressing on my brakes to stop the light.
Yeah.
So she just like didn't see it and just hit me and so,
weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So
At what point do you remember when during all this you messaged me? Because you're like, you said, I promise I'm not making this up, but we can't record tonight. I just got in an accident or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember.
Oh, because I'm like, oh, I hope she's not like sitting at the scene like, I better tell Steve.
Yeah, I think it was like a little, like maybe an hour afterwards.
Okay.
But the funny thing is, I did text my boss first.
Yeah.
And I was like still sitting in my car, like in the middle of the road. And I was like, hey, I'm going to be late. I just got in an accident.
Yeah.
And she was like, she sent me like a bunch of concerned emojis, like, what? Like, why are you texting me? And so I called. So I think I think I messaged her first, actually. Like, that, you know how when weird, like, situations happen and your brain just doesn't know? I was like, okay, I have to tell my boss I'm going to be late, and I have to call 911, and then I have to do this. Like, it was weird, so...
What a day.
It was, yeah,
and
was
then
really
Otto
stressful.
Did Otto have to, like... Was he at work already at that point?
Yeah, he had almost gotten to work. And so I had, like, called my dad because I couldn't find... I usually keep my insurance information just on my phone because paper is dumb because you have to keep printing it out and putting it in your glove box. So I'm like, I'll just keep my insurance, like, updated on my phone so I won't have to keep doing that because I usually forget and I have, like, expired insurance or whatever. But... So I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it. So I was like, I called my dad and I was like, hey, can you send me the insurance paperwork? And he was like, oh, well, why do you need that? And I'm like, well, I just got hit. And then he's like, what? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like he's like panicking. I'm like, no, it's cool. I like just need to, I just got in a car accident. I just need this. Just text it to me. And he's like, okay.
You're like, I'm a grown adult. You don't have to freak out.
Yeah.
Just please send me the information.
I just am really stressed out. Please send me this information. And yeah, and I was already like crying too, and then the officer was like, "Can I have your insurance?" And I was like, "I just gotta find it." I just, and he's like, "Okay, take your time. I'll be over here." Okay, so I was like, "Okay," and then the lady who hit me is like standing really close to me as I'm like frantically looking through my phone. I'm like, "Okay, please, like I know you feel very like guilty and sad, and I feel sad that you're really sad, but I need you to like take 2 steps away from me and not like stand next to me while I'm crying and like looking at my phone."
Did you say that to her?
No, I was but yeah, so the tow truck, the cop took one look at my car and was like, yeah, that's not drivable. So we're gonna call you a tow truck. And then he asked me, do you have a towing preference? And I was like, at what point in my life do I think, you know what I really should organize in my life is a towing preference.
Well, what if you just had a friend that worked for a towing company or something?
It was a weird question. I'm assuming it had to do with like what towing companies my insurance would work with, but I feel like insurances work with like every company. Like they don't care who they get their money from. So.
When I worked at Blockbuster, we had a guy that drove a tow truck that would just like watch movies in his tow truck, like because you just wait basically. So he would come in and rent stuff and then like trade it out all the time. Well, and we had this deal where you could pay like $9.99 a month or something and rent
it's like
2 videos
OG
at a time
Netflix.
or whatever. Yeah, it was pretty baller. But like that guy was like, this is the best for me because I rent so many movies. So he really took advantage. But like that would be funny if you're like, could you find the guy who goes to Blockbuster all the time? Like seems like a pretty nice dude. I'd like him to tow my car.
Yeah, and I think after he asked me, I was just like, you know, like just blubbering and being just, I don't know. I was still like, my alertness was like really high, but my ability to communicate was like very low.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. And he's like, I'll just find someone. I'm like, okay, thank you.
You're kind of like, that's your job.
Like, why are you asking me the questions about?
Yeah.
Do you have a towing? Yeah, that's how he worded it too. Do you have a towing preference? Like, I don't.
You're like,
I don't towing a car, a tow
snot's
truck.
like running down your face.
And then this
Your
other
leg's
lady is like
still
crying,
wet.
and she was like, "This is like, I'm really sorry. I feel so bad. Like, I don't know what happened. this is my first accident. I've never hit anybody before.
Yeah.
And so then she started crying. It's like, oh, I have to get my, I'm a teacher. I have to call and make sure my school's covered. Like, this is really bad timing. Like, money's so tight right now. And I was like,
no.
why are you telling me this right now? Like, I feel bad for you. So
I mean, your insurance will take care of it, but your premium might go up a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it won't, like, affect you immediately, but at the same time I was like, oh, I feel kind of bad. And then she actually,
you might want to find a part-time job. Teach.
So the towing truck came and picked up my car, and then the cop was like, well, okay, like, do you have someone to come get you? And I was like, I don't know. And that's when I finally called off. He was like the last person I called because I don't know, I didn't want to freak him out or something. I'm like weird like that. But then he's like, I'm turning around, and I was like, no, you gotta go to work. You can't miss work.
We gotta get that money.
You gotta get that paper. So then the lady who hit me was like, oh, I'll stay with you. And it was like raining outside. It was like a really dramatic movie moment.
Jeez.
So I was like, okay. So it was kind of awkward, but
did you guys exchange phone numbers?
Yeah, I have all her information. Like, all of it.
Are you going to hang out later?
I don't know. Maybe. If I sent her a note, be like, don't feel too bad. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those things.
Send her a card.
Yeah, an e-card.
Everybody makes mistakes. I forgive you.
I forgive you. Yeah. But she hung out with me, and I learned all about her kids.
Oh, no.
And, like, she teaches it in an immersion program, and about her husband who's, like, on disability because his brain's, like, swelling up in his head. And I was like, this is, like, very, like, weirdly personal, but you're a really nice lady, so I'll talk to you. And
that is so rough.
How, like, one of her students, like, texted pictures of, like, a gun to her daughter, who's also, like, in the school, so she had to, like, call the police and, like, make sure he didn't, like, come bring a gun to school, and I'm like, this is so crazy. Like,
you're
this
like,
is wild.
You're like, I literally just got T-boned, and I feel like my life should be the craziest life right now.
But, in fact, it is you who has the crazy life. So, it was, like, a surreal, like, just like I said, like, a weird movie moment where she's telling me about her kids, and, like,
Jeez.
I asked her if she was going to do anything fun later on.
You gonna go see Guardians of the Galaxy later?
Like a movie or something? Yeah. And I found out she's going on a trip to Yellowstone. It's her first time visiting Yellowstone, and she's really excited.
Did you tell her about the podcast?
Oh, I didn't.
I'm just joking.
I just gave her a sticker.
Check it out.
Send this to all your kids. Hope you like it.
That's really funny.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm such like if you believe in like the Myers-Briggs personality types at all, like I'm a very I'm like the highest on the feeling scale that you can possibly be. So I think I was like, my emotions were heightened because of my own trauma, that her emotions, like, it was like a feedback loop onto mine, and I was just like, I'm crying, I can't stop crying, and I felt bad for you. So it was weird.
Yeah, man. What a time.
It was quite a time.
Man, I haven't done a whole lot, actually.
So that was my week. I guess this whole podcast is just about my week, I suppose.
So I reconnected with that person, right, who gave us the review.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you about my week. It's not very long. Because I was like, we were like friends in junior high. And we were in band for like 3 years together, and we were like decent friends. Yeah. And so, but I couldn't remember her last name or something, and I think it was more I couldn't remember how to spell her first name because it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not weird. It's just a non-traditional spelling of her first name.
A Utah spelling.
No. It's fairly straightforward. I just don't want to dox her right now.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, that's fair.
So I was like, oh, I think my wife has gotten out my yearbooks, so I could just go look and see who this person is. There's another person that I've been looking for that I feel like we should have become friends, and I can't find her anywhere. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did you go? Why are you not friends with any of my friends? Like, you were so friendly, and like, she was kind of this person who I was looking for was like glue amongst our friends.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you gotta be around somewhere. Anyway, I can't find that other person, but we reconnected, right? And and then she mentioned the podcast, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you should listen to our podcast if you listen to podcasts. Because she mentioned something about Serial, and there was a new one that she was listening to because Serial's over or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started realizing, like, I've been losing a little bit of weight, right? Like, recently, to the point where people are like, oh, Steve, wow, you've really been losing weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty funny. It's kind of cool to have that feeling, but I realized that, like, if you knew me a year ago, you'd be like, wow, Steve lost a lot of weight. But if you knew me, like, in high school and you saw me now, you'd be like, oh, well, Steve kind of let himself go. and I'm like, no, you don't understand. I really let myself go. Like, I'm just getting back to kind of having let myself go. So that's what I've been thinking about lately. But I don't know. We have been podcasting for an hour and 10 minutes. We probably shouldn't try to get to... Yeah, honestly. Sorry, guys. There were a couple people that asked decent questions, and we can get to them next time. But
we'll save that. We'll put those in our pocket for later.
Man.
Yeah. Man, it's been a week for sure.
Yeah, it's been a crazy one.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's it for me. I don't know.
It's Plain Donuts Podcast.
This has been the Plain Donuts Podcast.
Podcast. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Steve, fill the time.
I'm filling. Oh, I don't know what I'm filling the time for.
Air horn.
Okay, nice job. We did it. That's great. Okay, well, thanks
On that
everybody.
note, we can't really top that, huh?
We can't top an air horn. We should probably play ourselves out, though.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Bum, bum,
We'll
bum,
see
bum,
you
bum.
later. Bye.
Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, it's your co-host Steve again. Just wanted to give a little epilogue to this story. Thankfully, Alicia's car was not totaled. She said if it had been like $100 more worth of damage, the car would have been totaled. But luckily, not so. Also, yes, in case you were wondering, she did eat her breakfast sandwich. She ate it at the scene of the accident. Okay, we'll have a new episode for you later this week. It'll be a twofer. See you then.